Alright, well, yeah, we got our Minotaur Chaos Knight, and that's right, Talus, I did in fact abandon Zom. Um, I mean, why wouldn't I abandon Zom, you know what I mean? I've got my Demon Blade, Pepega. Still calling yourself a Chaos Knight. Yeah, I am. I'm shameless. I'll do it. I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably just like tabbing through this place, you know? Like, what's stopping me from just rolling through on my super powerful Minotaur with my speed Demon Blade? Normal characters would be horrified to go down here, but this is actually a pretty good little choke point. Look at this. Go up, you go down. This is kind of annoying. Lamp. Do we have a lamp? We have a lamp, but we can't use it. Oh man, this is really annoying. I guess we're going to have to use clouds. The Chad Zom cow versus the virgin merchant cattle? What? Excuse me, sir, I'm a bull. It's kind of weird using this Demon Blade since we already had 14 axes, but you know, what am I going to do? Use a battle axe and not a huge shield? Yeah, right. We should pretty much be able to tab through the whole game. You look op. Yeah, Naughty Badger. It's a Minotaur, so he's gonna be strong, you know. Oh, bro, don't perma confuse me. That's one thing that could totally kill this character. Just getting perma confused in here. How about we make a friend? Look, we're confused again. Okay, we killed him. Have to remember, we're not immortal. Our defenses are good, but they're not amazing. Adored, I think if I had to choose between finding this Demon Blade and just being a Minotaur in terms of character power, I'd actually pick being a Minotaur, believe it or not. Because honestly, who wants to use a long blade, even if it is speed? Although, it is named Pepega. Which is really the main draw if you think about it. What's wrong with swords? I thought the riposte was really strong. It's not. Swords are kind of a joke, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they're not like unplayably bad, but wouldn't you rather be hitting all the stuff around you with a nice big axe? I just want big base damage, honestly. And, well, as big as I can get whilst still, you know, having shields. You know what? Let's do this. Base damage is that good? Yeah, it is. The thing about base damage is that it does even more based on your strength, which is one of the reasons why strength affects, affects large rocks so much. It's also why strength affects unarmed combat so much, because your base damage on unarmed combat gets to be absolutely absurd, you know. I have one unidentified scroll. You know what we can do is we can drop brand weapon. Probably not going to be using that. Probably sticking with this long blade, or this demon blade for the rest of the game. To be honest, this is just kind of like a relaxing sort of stream, considering that, well, we're a Minotaur and we have this awesome weapon. So it should be pretty smooth sailing unless I screw something up pretty bad. Although, as I recall, we don't have MR, so this chick actually has a greater than 50% chance to turn us into a pig, so let's kill her super fast. You'll notice I used my lightning rod to soften her up. Dude, do we not have our poise? Yeah, we do. Seems like we're taking more damage than I would expect in here, but we're only wearing a ring mail, so that isn't that surprising. Also, I guess I found this leather armor with magic resistance. I was probably thinking about rolling up into Orc with that thing. You could brand that hand axe, no thanks to NaNe Badger. Alright, how about we check this ring mail out? It's just int. I think of the big plays with my big boy brain. Do you? Do you really, though? Okay, I remember we bought some shops and didn't find the MR that we wanted. Perhaps I'll buy another shop. Look for jewelry, you know, because that's where your MR is likely to be. Plus 0 hand axe of frost. Yeah, totally an artifact for the ages right there. Ultimate weapon. By the way, I think I figured out what was causing my laptop to have those problems the other day. It wasn't my processor or anything at all, which makes sense considering this is like a dinky little browser game. Sort of a bad assumption that it could cause those kinds of issues. It's my Wi-Fi. It's the fact that I was it that it's a MacBook? Yeah, totally. It's that it's a MacBook. No, I think my gigantic monitors have a tendency to block the Wi-Fi signal. Like something was interfering with the Wi-Fi. It was absolutely a network issue because I went and I checked and I was like, well, other stuff is running just fine. You know, something like Darkest Dungeon can run just fine. It's obviously it's not performance. It's not like hardware performance, you know. feel like you could probably cook an egg on this laptop, though. Excuse me while I just casually do this entire vault. This is why offline crawl is better. Yeah, like a NaNe Badger says, I gotta, how am I supposed to, demonstrate my superiority over the entire community without, without my provably long streaks, man? Come on. Nobody will believe me if it's not online. You gotta die to lag randomly? I hope not. Although I think that has happened to me. You wouldn't think you'd be able to die to lag in a turn-based game, but it's definitely possible. Alright, this vault is wild. Just like really, really wild. So it can be. We're not too worried though. I probably should have emulated. Yeah, let's do that. Let's lightning blast. I don't really care about this vault on this character as long as I don't get paralyzed. Oh shit, do I have RF plus? Yeah, I do. Okay, do we have RLEC? No, we don't. How about we drink a heal wounds, which, by the way, double heal wounds! Because I'm wearing, I drank one potion, and it took me from like 50 hit points to 100 hit points. How, you might wonder? Kriya's Melcoat, just casually doubling my potion heal. I think I got like a 60 hit point heal there from one potion. A NaNe Badger, that is not broken. It's a ring mail, man. I'm paying for that with like crappy AC. Come on. Alright, still don't have a hat. But hey, you know what? We're gonna call a merchant. Let's call let's call an armor shop. There's a ring mail with tons of MR on it. Alright. Gotta wear it. Goodbye, Kriya's Melcoat. Look at all those items. Time to swap to Chiefia. I don't think so. Wow, it's the leather armor of Lickhop. Lickhop. I don't know what that means, but it sounds sort of lewd somehow. Do the meta play and switch back to Zom. It's such great ideas from you guys. I mean, with enough bits, anything's possible. You know, I can be bribed. I can be bribed. I can show you my, you know, my bribery shill there. I'll give you three bits to switch to Zom. I don't think so. Anyway, Orc Sorc, 1% chance to para. I feel pretty good about rolling up in here. I guess in theory I could still get paralyzed, and well, that sure would be unfortunate. Hey, a bunch of stuff, bunch of good stuff. Buy all the potions. Let's just go finish out. Oh, JK, we got marked. Waha! I didn't see the dispersal trap. Shows how much attention I'm paying. Let's go up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save myself the lack of dignity that comes along with trying to fight near a dispersal trap, and we're going to dig our way through here instead. 10 bits is 10 bits, Malcolm, before doing unspeakably lewd acts. You know, maybe if it wouldn't, maybe if the acts are not against Twitch policy, getting my account banned for those 10 bits doesn't seem worth it. See, Totally, it's not a missed opportunity if you point it out, my friend. Hey, Zephyr, what's up? Man, I don't know, you guys. I've been trying to teach people, since we're talking about money, I've been trying to teach people about Bitcoin for like years now, and now it's coming up to 10,000 again, you guys. We're here for the ASMR. We don't need a video of the X. Dude, there's some weird ASMR out there, to the point where, like, you know, I kind of hate Patreon because they ban people just sort of at random, but you know, which is one of the reasons I deleted my Patreon a while back. But it's worth noting that they like banned all of the ASMR girls for reasons that I guess are kind of obvious but kind of aren't. I mean, I think China made ASMR illegal. Oh yeah, Totally, I've seen that. Did you see the copy pasta that went along with that? Where the guy talked about how he had that playing, but somehow it was playing through like the downstairs speakers as well. And he went and he took a shower or something, and he got like a text from his mom that's like, "Son, we need to talk." We could get paralyzed here from the chaos, so let's take this real seriously and kill the priest really fast. There we go. See, one of the reasons I hate this dumb sword is that it just doesn't kill things quickly, you know? It just doesn't. I mean, it sort of does, but... And it's speed, so we get a lot of actions, we get a lot of attempts, and obviously, you know, it'd be better if I had, like, more Longblade's skill. Yeah, I do attack at Mendeley and Honey Badger, it's true. Man, mukbang is just stupid. Like, I'm gonna watch somebody eat. I mean, I understand that... Well, I don't know. What's funny to me is all the chicks that do it that pretend it's not, like, inherently sexual. You know, like, it's obviously meant to be lewd. You're not gonna convince me that that's not meant to be, like, a lewd thing. To some degree. Is that allowed on Twitch, I wonder? Although they pretty much look the other way for those kinds of streamers when it comes to their terms of service, as far as I can tell. That was a disto whip orc. I just kind of casually meleeed him. Perhaps a mistake. Zephyr Whisper, I have no idea what that is, and I feel like I'm better that way. It's literally just like a live stream of somebody eating a bunch of food, like a ton of food. Usually, you know, like many ridiculous ideas, it's like an attractive woman. It's like an excuse for dudes to watch an attractive woman do something, generally. Wesley says, ASMR is not pornography. I would say that ASMR is sometimes not pornography. Perhaps. But it certainly can be. I mean, I don't know. I guess that nobody's naked necessarily, so it's... I don't know. It's definitely on the line. When Malcolm taps those mechanical keys, it's pretty lewd. Sorry, no mechanical keyboard today, then. Or maybe I'm not sorry. Why do you like Gozag so much? Never knew how the money needs line together. He's just really good. Like, first of all, he's the only god outside of Uskawa that gives you an immediate power boost, because you get the potion petition immediately. Bribe Branch makes Zot effectively free. The distract makes it so you can just kind of power through fights in a way that otherwise wouldn't necessarily be possible. You get to cast spells, or excuse me, you get to buy anything from shops that you want immediately, which is, you know, not even necessarily the shops that you made, but just shops in general. Like here in Orc, I just casually bought a book that had Blink in it because I wanted Blink. Okay, don't paralyze me, please. There we go. Oh, I'm real dumb. I bought the big boy Blink book instead of the minor magic. I could have saved myself like 1,000 gold. Luckily this is a Minotaur, and I can make those kinds of mistakes without feeling too bad about it. By the way, yes, I am going to train Translocations and Spellcasting to get Blink online. I don't remember some of the gods. Zephyr says, is Gozag a god of commerce or something? Basically, he's the god of greed, actually, which I guess you could say is the god of commerce. He has 3 abilities: Potion Petition, Call Merchant, and Bribe Branch. Potion Petition, your first one's free, but after that it costs some money. It gives you like 3 random potion. You get to choose from 3 sets of potion effects, which can save your life in bad situations early in the game and prepare you for hard fights later in the game. Call Merchant calls a merchant randomly. You can choose between a few different options. Really lets you pad out your item selection. Bribe Branch basically makes a branch, like for a while, the monsters in the branch will either go neutral or actually become friendly. Some of them will, which makes a branch incredibly easy. And then every time you kill something, the corpse disappears and turns to gold. So you get free gold every time you kill stuff. And then every time you kill something, people get other enemies get distracted by that gold, meaning that they don't act as often. And that effect is probably the hugest thing about Gozag, because it's kind of like having a Ru aura, except without all the dumb things that go along with worshipping Ru. Yeah, Wesley, I don't necessarily agree with any of that, or I don't disagree with any of that. I just think that, like, I would go so far as to say that at least half the community is probably, you know, or half the people making that kind of content. Like, come on, there's something going on there. Is really, you know, they know what they're doing. It's like someone that streams video games, but then they're half naked while doing it. Are they really trying to stream the game? Or, you know, are they trying to develop a following based on perhaps some other parameters, you know? Time to do Elf, Anani Badger says. Maybe. We haven't done the second rune yet. Well, see, Toturi, if I wanted to be half naked right now, I could be, because I'm not on camera. But actually, I'm wearing jeans and a nice white Hindley to show off my curves. Hey, Devious Jester, what's up? I don't think there's ever going to be a half-naked Malcolm stream. Maybe if I ever like lift on camera. Sounds good, Wesley. Dude. Artifact Broadaxe. Yeah, it's holy. That's a swap, I guess. I mean, we actually have Axis training from earlier. Or Brun Weapon, perhaps. I always feel very strange switching between 2 different item types, but, I mean, whatever. 2 weapon types, rather. You know what's weird is the fact that we found a holy Prodax. That's pretty rare. Hey, there's a hat. Kind of useless until we get some more enchant armor. Do a few zigs and you're fine on this character? I'm not so sure about that, my friend. I'm already doing something a little wacky by taking the shield to 25 and getting Blink online. Okay. Melee are no joke. I probably shouldn't underestimate them. Hey, buddy, you can iron shot me. God, I hate those things. Yeah, NaNe Badger, you got wrecked by one, I think, in recent history, right? Check it out. We're going to polymorph him. Now he's a Queen Ant. We volned first. Because Francis doesn't have anything to target my MR, you see, so using Voln is not really a big deal. Yeah, melee are one of those enemies that you really have to do it very carefully. And if you don't do it carefully, you will die, depending on the character. Now, we're lucky enough to be playing quite a beefcake, you know, real Billy Harrington type, but it's not always the case. Having a lot of hit points definitely helps, though. It's like this vault is specifically designed to stop me from tabbing. They're like badass orc priests, pretty much. They're like super fast orc priests, yeah. They're like killer bees with orc priests strapped to their backs. Here's some more. Oh, I shouldn't have tabbed that. Ogre Mage? Ogre Mages have 1% chance to parry me still. Bro! Bro! +7 dex! Let's just take a look at what this does for us. We go from 19 EV 21 SH to 23 EV 22 SH. That's quite a boost. Ironically named Gloves of the Snail, even though they make me more dexterous. And that's another source of our poise. Not that we needed it, because we still had that from our Zom mutations, but, you know, I'll take it, you know, just in case that wears off. And hey, there's some boots as well. Are we getting kitted out? Is that happening? Nope, not today. The boots are just +2 int, which we don't need. Dude, do we have regen available? No, we don't. Actually, yeah, we do. Probably get that spell online too. Some of the very few spells that are worth getting on a Minotaur is like regen and blink, and that's pretty much it. Okay, we're done with dungeon. How's Blink coming along? 41%. It's not bad. See, a Naughty Badger, I don't know, man. Like, you seem to love the Scald start, but I'm just not a huge fan. I don't even like Spectral Weapon. Like, it's a good spell, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like the opposite of the kind of thing that I want to build my character to do. I like my characters to just be hilariously defensive and then only as offensive as is necessary to win, you know? Whereas, like, Spectral Weapon is definitely all about offense. You can do both, but it's definitely not a thing that really lets you tab very hard, that's for sure. Since it's something you have to cast every single fight. Alright, we have one rune. We could go ahead and do Shoals. Could this character do Elf? Considering that I have Frail, I don't think I want to do Elf yet. Just because, like, LCS and whatnot. Although we could safely do it, I think. Do we have Silent Scroll? No, we don't. Also, let's go ahead and acquire gold. I always acquire gold with Gozag, almost always, because it's, you know, it's like acquiring piety. It's never a bad idea, really. Yeah, Wesley, that's a pretty good way to put it. Spiky damage is what kills you in this game, combined with threats that you're not capable of facing yet. So anything to avoid those damage spikes is definitely what you want. Alright, I'm just going to do Shoals because it's the safe thing to do. Pretty safe anyway. Maybe we can collect some nets here. We've already got 5 though. I guess I could make some more shops, but dude. Okay, put me on dry land. Gotta tell you, this is why I don't want to use a speed Demon Blade. I can't rely on like a single big hit killing things. You have your axe? I do, but it's holy. So it's not really that viable. Anyway, 3 of these dudes are on the screen. That's obviously quite bad. Why don't we make an ally? Don't get put to sleep. That's good. I use the wand, so if I get put to sleep, the stuff just dies. And then we'll Ice Blast to finish him off. Okay, I want to stay out of line of sight of his buddy there. Okay, now there was only one, but I still wanted to stay out of line of sight. Then he just died in the clouds, so that's cool. Check it out. I'm gonna drop Polymorph, and actually I'm gonna keep Polymorph for now. Weirdly enough, drop random effects though, and we'll never pick that up again. Neither that nor Flame. I'm making a fork of DCSS, by the way. Got the WebTiles server for it mostly running tonight. Sort of glitched, but I will have it fully functioning probably before I go to bed. You know what? I don't care about being put to sleep by these dudes. Just kill them. If you polymorph something that can fly over deep water, does it drop into the water and die? If it can't swim, do you get the experience? I don't know. I've never done that. I seriously doubt it just dies. I bet it just can't become something that, you know. That can't swim. But maybe not. I don't know. Let's get strength. Although maybe I should be getting Dex. Maybe this is the one character in a million where getting Dex is a good idea. I doubt it. We're using a Scarf of Resistance, right? Yeah, so I don't really ever want to change my cloak slot. It's very rare to run a character who doesn't want to use that item. It's amazing. I mean, trade a couple points of AC for RF plus and RC plus, hell yeah. Having 1 pip of resistances is just so crucial in this game that that's rarely going to be a mistake. Hey, Blink is pretty castable now. Having Blink as a spell is pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. There's 2 more penetration javelins over here. Let's free them and then go down. I like to carry penetration if I can, even without skill in throwing. Okay, we hit a teleport trap. Sort of unfortunate. Curse String of Teleportation. Well, certainly won't be using that. Yes, yes, a NaNe Badger. I knew somebody was going to say that. Let's drop Polymorph. I think we can do Elf after this. Having a Silent Scroll makes me more confident about doing Elf. I'll explain why here in a minute. Basically, it lets me safely reset fights if need be. Although we've got 6 scrolls of blinking, which also lets me safely reset fights for the most part. Ring of Wizardry might save you some exp if you can swap to it. Technically, but then that's a turn I'd have to spend swapping any time that I need to blink, which I'd prefer not to do. Hey, Polyphemus, what's up, my boy? I wonder what the chance of the Siren Song is. 5%? Look at that, just perfect arc of Lamp of Fire there. Perfectly crap. Okay, got a +1 hat now. Dude, I gotta drop some crap. We have so much garbage in the inventory. Ring of Intelligence can go away. Everything else is actually worth holding on to. Well, we can drop Vulnerability. We have, with no Poly Scroll, we really have no way to take advantage of that. Since we don't have Para or, well, we have Enslave, but am I really going to Vuln so that I can enslave something? No, not really. It's another reason I wouldn't do that wizardry trick. Generally, if I'm going to use a trick to make wizardry helpful in a clever way, it'll generally be to like cast D-missile early or something like that. Since D-missile represents such a huge power boost. Okay. Got an interesting little vault here. By interesting, I mean not fun. Morgon's Ghost. He's got Blink and Shroud, and 42 damage plus a weapon of freezing. That looks like a not particularly fun ghost to fight. Put to sleep. Luckily, nothing but the Dream Sheep around. Huh! Wizardry and Slay -4 ring. Nope. Not today. Not wearing that today, friend. This, on the other hand, is worth picking up. Phantom Mirror will help me have a fun time against TRJ. Oh, hello. It's the Glaive of Prune. That'd be a really fun weapon if we, you know, found it really early. Whoops. Did not mean to step over here. Let's lamp these dudes. You know what? I'm going to lightning rod this guy because his might is letting him actually do half decent damage on me. Keeping in mind we are still in ring mail. What does it do? It's just a +12 glaive with chop. It's just a nice two-handed weapon. You know, as far as two-handed weapons go. Doesn't require a bunch of experience to get to its min delay, so it's just a solid all-around weapon. The only problem with it really is that it's two-handed. Hey guys. Let's just do this. Wow, he just made steam and then died in his own steam and then exploded because of because of the immolate. It's hilarious. We got really the best kind of cloud from one of clouds that we could have asked for. The Rune Vault's pretty much always going to have an incredibly huge number of dudes in it. So it's a good, assuming you can kill stuff fast enough, it's often a good place to immolate, to kill it all really quickly. It's also a good place to use one of clouds because, well, there's a guy named Blue who watches my streams sometimes, and he calls it hut busting because there's these little huts at the bottom of shoals. You'll notice they're kind of very enclosed spaces. Almost the perfect spot to use a wand of clouds. Delicious steam-cooked fish. They are good. Sardines, man. They steam them so long that the bones are edible. And they're actually quite good for you. I think that we can probably go in here. Let's Ice Blast to make sure we don't get mothed. We failed to not get mothed. Well, we didn't get mothed, just a merfolk, it's fine. There's another moth. We lamp him. How's this ghost's resistance? Pretty good to fire, dang. I'm going to enslave this dude. I'm going to swing on this dude. You know what? I don't care too much if I get zerked. Just kill the moth manually, you know? Alright. I forget if you can acid ghosts. I'm pretty sure you can. Maybe not. Let's just melee him. I think we can melee him. Yeah, we can. If he stops blinking, come on, buddy. Is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. Probably wasted more acids than I needed to, but oh well. This character doesn't really need to play carefully or conservatively, considering he's a Minotaur. Alright, where shall we go? Open halls. We pretty much have Omni resistance. The one thing I'm lacking that I'd really like is Aralek. Nothing has spawned with that yet. Considering that we're worshipping Gozag, we'll eventually get it. But we don't need it. Glowing Broadaxe. Nah. Time to buy some items though, right? Maybe. I mean, we do have about 7,000 gold, but I don't know. I'm going to conserve until I at least see the loot pile here. And I might even do slime after too. I want to see some of the biggest loot piles that I can get to without really any risk or much risk, so that I don't end up trying to get items that I don't need, you know? Like, for example, I just found this sick amulet. SH plus 3 reflect MR plus plus MP plus 9. Now, of course, we don't need the MP plus 9, but MR plus plus, I mean, suddenly our MR problems are solved forever. Probably could take off this ring mail if I wanted to, although Orc Sorcerers can still paralyze me, and Ancient Liches are still like a solid 8%, so I think we're going to wear the ring mail for the time being. Sack of Spiders, Wand of Clouds. We have 2 Phantom Mirrors. I don't know if I'll buy another one. I think I'll just put it on the list. We will buy this digging, though. Can you get more MR? There's really no reason to have more MR, except I guess that, like, if I were to get my MR reduced by virtue of like a Phantasmal Warrior or whatever, I guess I could, like, not get owned after that, but 4 pips is about what you need to be immune to an Ancient Lich, although you may have 4 pips and not be immune. It just kind of depends. Technically, I could have died there if they, like, all decided to hit me at the same time for max damage. So I was taking that fight kind of slowly in case I got, you know, a big hit. You want to be super careful when you fight the high-level elves. Yeah, blue. I swapped to Gozag because... Is this a heresy stream? Let me tell you about heresy. You see this, buddy? I believe you missed a little bit of hut busting. In fact, you missed some really satisfying hut busting, because I opened up the rune vault and then I found a hut that was just chock full of high-level merfolk. So I immolated it, and then I used Wand of Clouds, and it turned out it was negative energy, which just slaughtered everything super fast. That's what you get for not coming to the stream fast enough. You missed the hut busting that you love so much. Let's drop Potions of Berserk. Telling Flood Killer on me? No. Bro, that is a floating eye. What an unfortunate thing to find. Yeah, Blue, I'm trying not to do that. Was I streaming during Dynast hours today? Because I thought I was late enough to avoid them this time. Also, maybe I'm just I'm secretly trying to steal Dynast's thunder, you see. I mean, not really. I like Dynast. He's cool. Anybody who's banned and blocked by Gamma Funk has obviously done something right. Dynast is streaming. When he sees you stream, he's being paid to do so. I mean, I guess in the literal sense, he is being paid to do so, insofar as like people give him bits. But technically, I'm being paid to stream when he's streaming as well, so I don't know. I got my first Twitch payout the other day, by the way, which felt good. What the hell? This is weird. Check it out. This is the end vault. But this is the entire floor. I mean, surely there's more somewhere. Strange. Okay. This is possibly going to be awkward. I don't know what a doll hair is, Anani Badger, but I don't think I'm getting paid in that particular currency. Bro, this is actually... Ooh. What if I dig? Is this just gonna... Okay. Alright. How strange. You know what? I'm gonna magic map. I'm getting memed on here. Okay. This is really weird. I have a ton of digging, so let's just dig. Something formed wrong here. You know, this is not right. Alright, Blue. Well, I guess I'm woke today. Oh, I see an honey badger. I guess Dynast's accent might make that sound like that. I like the fact that every time Dynast says like something that's cursed or you know, anything with ed on the end, he pronounces it like cursed. Even words where nobody does that, just because it's like English is a second language. It's like weirdly charming to me. Move curse. Trying to think of some other words he says like that. So nothing's coming to mind. If he gets trapped, he'll say he got trapped. About 3 hours away from woke. You want me to stream in the AM? Oh hey, there's a watcher here. Whoa, an Arlec ring. That is worth wearing. Let's drop. I mean, as much as I like to have +4 strength, +4 dex, and EV +1, I'd rather walk around with Sinv all the time and Arlec. Stop promoting and before account banned for promoting? Why would that happen? Oh, you mean on Dungeon Crawl? Well, no, I'm on Barotato right now, so that insane guy Floraline is not in charge of what I get to do. What an asshole that guy is. Still can't believe he deleted my account, like as punishment, you know, for trying to give Infobot services to the player base while Beam was gone. So a lot of very interesting personalities in this community, and unfortunately some of them have, well, a lot of ability to ruin your day if they feel like it. Alright, you know what? What the hell am I carrying around Potions of Brilliance for? I'm a big dumb Minotaur and that's what I want to be, so let's just never pick those up again. So, if you were new to the game, how would you know that was the vault? Well, the tiles are a little different, like the stone walls and whatnot. But yeah, I guess it's not super obvious. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking about how I want to proceed. What is this trident? Just protection. We could take 60 damage here plus the trident because of the priest. I think we're gonna acid blast. Okay. Now we'll ice blast. Okay, we'll walk backwards. Cannot ice blast this dude because he's a little too far away. He's just gonna die in the flames. Let's back off. I see that we have sort of an ambush back here. Okay. I think we're gonna try to ice blast this dude to death. Fine. A little bit of a waste of resources, but I'll take it. What? That must be a shapeshifter. This is a really awkward entrance vault here. Or entrance to the, you know, branch end. I guess I could dig this out here and then have a half decent place to retreat to, you know? Hey, there's the Lajatong of Order. I should probably grab that and then put it on whenever I'm going to use Cure Mutation or Mutation Potions to turn it into kind of like a ghetto Cure Mutation. By the way, I'm noticing a little bit of lag here, so please let me know if anything weird happens to the stream, okay? Because I'm trying to troubleshoot this issue. And I think, I don't know, I think I figured out how to resolve it, but definitely going to need some feedback if not. Yeah, let's lightning blast these dudes. I know that there was a Brimstone Fiend there, but not a big deal if I can just kill the guys who summon them, you know? Alright, I'm going to do what I should have done a while ago. I'm going to dig through here. Now I have a staircase right here that I can flee to. Isn't that nice? This guy just reflect kills himself. Sweet. Still need to drop some more stuff. Looks like we have 4 enchant armor. I guess we could just pump up our large shield, but I want to see this loot vault before I do that. There's a ring with MR plus on it, which we just don't need. Drop the cursed ring of strength. I like that we can tab Blade Masters. Okay, maybe we can find some running. 2 different magic boots. Oh, we have flying. I guess that's okay. Let's stop flying. Let's drop potions of flight. Something I probably should have done a while ago. See, there's a pair of gloves. Let's try those on. Wait a minute. This is the thing. I have the artifact in the slot, so we don't. There's no way that we would need that. Manual of shields. Hey, that's actually useful. Wish we'd found it earlier. All right. So we didn't find any fancy shields. We did find a manual of shields. Let's just blow all of our enchant armor on the shield. You know, so now it's +6, which is I guess we could get 2 more, but 6 is pretty good. You know, considering our SH is 33, that's just monstrously high, you know. Anything else we care about here? Looks like no. So we'll take this Lajatong. Again, you can just wear it and drink down mutation potions, and sort of turns your potions into like ghetto cure mutations. Quite nice. All right. What can I drop? I have too much stuff. First of all, like we're gonna be doing slime now. This is a minor optimization, but well, let's drop this amulet. We'll never need it, even though it's quite nice. Well, we'll probably never need it. Let's, instead of wearing the ring Homestuck, we'll wear Gosur instead. You know, it seems weird, like, oh, Lek, surely I want that, but I'd rather have Strength, Dex, and EV for the purposes of slime, because there's no electricity sources in there. It's just 1 pip of our mute, right? I've gotten 3 pips of our pip. Do you mean our mute? 1 game? There should 3 pips. I mean, that's a great question, actually. Our mute doesn't show up on the status screen, but I think that there are different levels of it, at least in terms of the mutation that you can get. You can get a mutation that makes you resistant to more mutations. I don't know if it bumps up levels of that, like if you were to wear the hat and the Lajatong at the same time, or like have the hat and the mutation and wear the Lajatong. The hat I'm talking about is the hat of alchemy, or whatever, the alchemist hat that gives you our mute. But I don't know if that actually stacks in that way. I know that the mutation, of course, has different levels, but I don't know if the items do that. That's a really good question. Doesn't he would know if he was around. All right, so this Great Orb of Eyes, we're totally immune to it. So we'll just tab this stuff. I'm focusing on the blob first. Cool stuff, right? Distract certainly helping us out there. Okay, we have a Shining Eye. We'll just melee that one. Ice Blast this one. Actually, we'll melee him. Did we get mutated? Actually, no, we didn't. That's a shock. Okay. Okay, we are corroded, so we'll kill all this stuff in the upstairs. Which apparently has a lot of slime creatures. Maybe we'll do the smart thing and do a little bit of stair dancing, you know? Now, I think that the distraction effect will follow me for a little bit, even from floor to floor. Although it didn't look like those guys were getting distracted that much. Check this out. Let's use a file of floods. So you said earlier you're making your own fork. Why not just work with bcrawl? Well, I mean, I like bhauth, but we have some very different ideas about the game. And I don't really play that well with others unless they have a very similar vision as me. Like, for example, the thing about going down the stairs and getting teleported, like, I don't have the energy in me to disabuse him of the notion that that's a good idea, you know? I'm not saying that he's like a dumb guy, I'm just saying I don't like his ideas about like what makes crawl crawl. And I don't know if I'd be able to work within a framework like that, you know? Like, I like bhauth. He seems like a very smart guy, very helpful, very friendly. It's just like I don't, you know. There's just some issues I have with, you know, that's like a fundamental premise of the game to be messing with, you know. So it's like when something that core is just totally ass backwards, in my opinion. Like, I don't want to work with the rest of the project if the fundamentals are wrong, you know? Wrong in my opinion. It's all subjective. Okay, so there's a floating eye here. I kind of stopped moving because obviously he can just wreck my ass. I could throw a javelin of penetration at him. In fact, I think we're going to try. He's not going to paralyze me immediately. Okay, he started glaring at me. Could get paralyzed at any moment. We're going to fear him now, which is a bit of a shame because he's now fully charged, and he'll be fully charged forever. Okay, I'm okay with getting paralyzed now with just these dudes by me, but I didn't get paralyzed. So let's blow a cloud. Okay. The reason I did a cloud was because I wanted damage to be getting done to those dudes while I was paralyzed, if I got paralyzed. I probably shouldn't have just like sat around while they approached, to be honest. Whatever. I may train some throwing, to be honest. NaNe Badger, are you going to go through and cherry pick some of the changes you like at least? A lot of the changes were really nice. I might. I mean, it's possible. My fork is currently focused. One of the very first things we're going to do is create a brand new branch with new art assets because that's going to get people interested more than anything. Something that shows up very early in the game that players are going to get to have fun with. Something that, at least for a while, will show up in every game. You know, and what we're not going to do is we're not going to give permission for mainline crawl to use any of our assets, any of the new stuff, because, you know, that may sound selfish, but I think that these people have led the community in a very dark direction. I think they've been very abusive towards the community. And my goal is not to create a fork. My goal is to continue dungeon crawl the way it was meant to be. You know, so this is not going to be something that like fundamentally changes aspects of the game. It's just going to be a thing that kind of frees the game from the clutches of people that obviously don't care very much about the people who play it, you know. B vault? What? No, 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 it's not a B branch. It's not the Hive. Sorry. I'm not just like bringing back an old branch and calling it new. Although, you know, that's like an option, like doing something like bringing back the Hive or the Enchanted Forest, you know, with new art assets and sort of new mechanics and just kind of like bringing back something nostalgic that people remember. That might be a really decent idea. Everyone loved the Hive. I mean, Hive basically still exists if you're being honest, by way of like that one vault where a billion bees can show up and touch it. Yeah, I know, I have bad mutations. We're gonna get rid of them here in a minute. We're in a pretty good place. We're in a pretty good place to get rid of bad mutations, so I'm not super concerned. Perhaps I should be, considering I only have 4 potions, but dude, sick lamp, bro. Thank you, Mr. Lamp. But yeah, we have some very bad mutations. I was actually more concerned about armor fits poorly on your strangely shaped body, although I guess that matters not as much in ringmail. Minus Scroll is probably one of the worst mutations in the game, right up there with Teleportitis. I want to clear this floor before I really mess around with it, though, because I might run into more shining eyes and, you know, like this one. All right. I wish we had more lightning rod charges right now. You worship Gozag and can get more at least. Yeah, the ability to buy distilleries is pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, I'm gonna use agility here. I'm actually gonna. How much might do I have? 5. I'm gonna use might here. I just want to fight through this stuff. Shields is 25 now. Hell yeah. Let's just turn fighting armor and dodging on until the game's over, basically, and take evokes to 15. I'd be interested if you reworked mutations to be a proper system. I've been working on the manifesto, like sort of the design. Well, I shouldn't say I. Myself and my team have been working on sort of a design document that outlines the mission statement of the project. And mutations is on the list. That's something that's... Honestly, mutations is such a great example of where the devs just, like, I don't want to say they have their heads up their asses. I think they just willfully don't care about anything but their pet projects anymore, because the mutation system has been just hilariously and obviously busted for about a year now, maybe more depending on where you want to start counting. And it's just like, it's clear that they just don't care about it, even though many very skilled, very knowledgeable people have brought to their attention how messed up it is. And how it can create sort of these horrible farming games where you have to go to the abyss if you want to win and wander around for a billion years, you know, and just they refuse to do anything about it because that would mean taking advice from the community, you know. So that's definitely, believe me, that's on my list. Wield your axe, you are surrounded. We're getting ripostes, and I think I'd rather attack fast. If the axe had a brand on it, I'd probably feel differently. I don't know, maybe it was more optimal to use the axe there. But the axe is just holy, so unless I'm fighting one of those death oozes, it's not really doing a lot for me. Hope this is not disconnected. No, it's fine, there's 2 staircases. And it's not disconnected, okay. Alright. We've almost got this place fully explored. I doubt that there are more shining eyes. So you know what I'm going to do is check it out. I'm going to take off my large shield. I'm going to put on my Longitong of Order. I'm going to just try to get off my worst mutations. Vision sharpens twice. Apparently I had minus scrolls x2. Let's keep going. Okay, we lost our RC+, that's fine. I'm actually going to keep going because I wanted my frail off. Alright, so we have -2 dex, but we also have +2 dex. I don't care about that enough to try to use my last mutation potion. So let's put our Demon Blade back on. Let's put our big boy shield back on. Let's kill the Royal Jelly. We'll haste. We'll agility. We'll might. If I wanted to, I could drink resistance and then wear like the RLX Dex +5 ring for a little more EV, but I think we're fine. We can save a resistance this way. Shout to bring him closer since he hadn't noticed me. Okay. Would have thought Axe would be better here since you'll be surrounded and hasted. Yeah, you might very well be right there, Nani Badger. I'd have to F-sim it to be sure. Anyway, we'll wait. We'll throw a net. Take a step. We'll use the Phantom Mirror. Sadly, the guy acts before I get a chance to do anything else. You know what? I'm actually going to kill this. Okay, never mind. I'm going to kill TRJ. Why am I trying to alter my usual plan? Okay, throw another net every time he gets out of the net. Okay, let's immolate this stuff, which was my last scroll of immolate, but that's fine. I'm going to drink a heal wounds. Nice. Should be everything on the floor. We will drop this Ring of Wizardry. We will wear Arlek. We will drop the Ring of Corrosion Resist. We will identify this amulet. Amulet of Rage. Identify this, I guess. Just a +1 cloak. Got the Slimy Rune. +8 War Axe of Drain with MR++. That's a solid in-game weapon. Stormbow. Yeah. Alright. Not a lot here that I care too much about. But it was more experience, and we got another rune. I guess we could check out this axe. Broad Axe of Chopping. Technically, we could take that to 9. Better than Broadly an Axe. Well, it's already chopping a Nani Badger, so it's already the brand I would want it to be. Hey, Flood Killer, what's up? How you doing? The big thing would be to get it to +9. Which we could take it up to, well, let's see, we have 6 enchant weapons, so we could take it up to +7. I guess I could also purchase this Broad Axe and Elf, and perhaps it's better. Yeah, Flood Killer, I mean, the Demon Blade, it's speed. You know, it's not a bad item as much as I don't want to use it. I can't say that it's bad, you know. Although I did find, check out what I found. I found a +8 broadaxe of Holy. So, like, I could swap on the orb run. Kind of a weird place to switch weapons, but whatever. I think I actually want to be able to see invisible all the time, rather than have extra stats, just for kind of ease of tabbing. Alright, let's hit up vaults. I mean, you're a Minotaur at this point, so you're probably just fine either way. Yeah, no, I agree. It's almost like an academic choice at this point, considering that the character is just so very strong. Oh, dude. Please don't mutate me, Mr. Cacodemon. Please don't Iron Shot me twice either. Okay. Enchant armor, get the shield. Almost a maxed out large shield. That's always a good feeling when you can get that going. Also, you know what I should do is I should do vaults in reverse order. So I can't get shafted so easily. Pile of floods we've already got. We can tab through just about anything here, to be honest. So what am I doing? I just said I was going to do it in reverse order, and instead I'm tabbing through the whole floor. Strength. You know what I'd like is like a vampiric broadaxe. Wouldn't that be nice? There's a vampiric battle axe, but it's not as good as people think. It's perfectly good for speedruns, but check it out. We're going to try this out. Broadaxe of Electrocution. That is tempting. We could take that to +9. You know what? I'm going to rebrand it. If we get chopping or vamp, we'll use it. It's protection. There's more brand weapon lying around. It's draining. That's pretty good. You know, I guess there's very few things that draining doesn't work against that Holy also doesn't work against, you know? I'm tempted to just use it as draining and then swap. Should we do it? By the way, let's drop this manual of maces and flails. Well, I guess we got a +9 drain broadaxe. I mean, it's actually quite good. On my very best, speed run, I had a vamp or a draining war axe that really I just rode to the end. Really amazing brand. It's like what electric golems and shadow dragons and orbs of fire. But we're not really close to Zot yet, so I'll figure something out. I mean, hell, we could like swap back to the long blade if need be. What is so good about Drain? In addition to the extra damage, let me do something real fast. Hold on. Okay, so let's look up Drain brand real fast. So 1/2 chance of doing extra damage. We're already starting out strong out of the gate because 50% chance to hit is really nice. You know, Venom hits 50% of the time, which is why it feels so reliable, whereas Electricity only hits about 100, or I think it's 1/3 of the time, which is why Electricity feels so unreliable. But this is half the time. So an additional damage divided by 4 plus 3. So that's like a quarter extra damage, man. That's a lot. And then it applies, here's the big deal. It applies a debuff that reduces hit dice and is stackable, refreshable, and lasts 20 to 30 turns. Now there are a lot of things that don't, you know, get affected by that if they have like R-neg or something, but reducing hit dice is huge because, like, here's the thing. A lot of things are keyed off of hit dice, like the amount of damage that something does with spells, I believe, or with wands or anything like that. I think it might even reduce their MR. I'm not positive about that. It just reduces a lot of stuff. I think it might even reduce their chance to hit. I need somebody like Doesn't in here to set me straight on the fine details. I just know that it's really good to reduce hit dice. Why doesn't DCSS have cloud kill? Maybe in my fork. Maybe we'll add that to my fork. Oh, dude, this is exactly the vault I wanted to see. Also, we just kind of tabbed through an ancient lich, or a regular lich. Whoops. Okay, hold up, you guys, get away. I want to go back to my beautiful hat vault. Okay, that hat is crap. That hat is not so interesting. Let's drop my generic +1 hat. Bunch of regular hats. Hat of intelligence. Okay, looks like we're going to be wearing Pondering then, which is good AC, extra MR, which we don't really need. I had hoped to find like a hat of Synth, which would have saved me a ring slot. I think their 2-hit gets reduced with reduced HD, at least for spells, I think, since the spell power is dependent on HD. That sounds about right to me, Flood Killer. I'm not 100% sure that reduces accuracy for like melee and ranged attacks that aren't spells, but maybe. But there are precious few things in the game that can reduce the amount of maximum damage that a spell can do. GDR certainly doesn't, you know? I was going to do something with my items, but I can't remember what. Oh yeah, I was going to check. Alright, so we have MR plus from the hat, and we have MR plus plus from the amulet, and we have MR plus plus from the ringmail. Seems like a lot of MR even for a crappy Minotaur with a dearth of MR. So let's take off our ringmail and let's see. Can liches hit us? No, they can't. Can ancient liches hit us? No, they can't. So that means that if I feel like it, we could get rid of this ringmail. Yes, I was a NaNe Badger. Alright. But looking at body armor, there's not a whole lot that's available. We could go back to using Kriya's Melkote, and that's certainly an upgrade, but not a huge one. Here's our artifact body armors. Nothing's really standing out to me. I guess we could like pop on the +7 chainmail. That'd be okay. I think the +7 chainmail is the only good one. Time to ask Gozag for a shop. That's a legitimate choice. Let's go back to our shop farm. Yeah, we have, how much gold do we have? 7,400. I'll call a merchant. Armor shop. +1 plate armor. Okay, it's a bunch of crap. Shield of protection would have been nice to find earlier. I'll get one more. Sorted antiques. Okay, we got bamboozled, you guys, but hey, we got a sack of spiders out of it, so that's good. Plate with Synv? I mean, yeah, but it's +1, man. Wearing, you know, freeing up my ring slot, unless I had like Ring of Robustness, freeing up my ring slot is not particularly worth it. Let's just, dude, why am I being so greedy? Why am I being so greedy, you guys? You know, like let's just wear the chain. The chain's great. 33 AC, 23 EV. What do I have to complain about here? You know. Yeah, plate does have higher GDR, but you know, chain has pretty good GDR as well. Hey, rainy day tomorrow, what's up? I started playing again. Heavy armor melee still feels not terrible, but I'm super scared to play casters now. Just be careful. Just play carefully and slowly, and you know. Maybe it's because you're following the literal god of greed. Yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe I'm just role-playing, you know? Casters are weak in DCSS. The way Malcolm plays casters is turning them into melee with stat form. Not always. It's happened a lot in this series of wins. Because there are just a hell of a lot of Earth Elementalists in this streak. And I'm not gonna lie, obviously it's preferred for me to turn them into melee dudes because stat form is just more fun than being a caster, in my opinion. But you know, that's a playstyle thing. Like some dudes really enjoy just doing massive ass damage with a firestorm, you know, and there's something to be said for that playstyle. It can even be very powerful. Oh, this is ugly as hell. Let's clouds here. You want to torment, buddy? I bet you do. Come on, why don't you torment me and watch your master die in the fire? Plug Killer says, I'm not really convinced that casters are weak more than they are very punishing. I would agree with you entirely that that is a much better way to put it. And a lot of really smart guys have suggested to me that casters are weak, and I think that they're just kind of, it's like it's a small piece of nuance there, but it's a meaningful one, you know. I think I'd agree with that statement pretty much 100%. Switch to Holy, mop up this flayed ghost, who was kind enough not to flay me until after Roko was dead. Thanks, buddy. Casters get yeeted much easier. Fair. Although, honestly, casters force you to play as carefully as you should be playing anyway. You know? Think about this. Think about this statement. Just for a second. On a Minotaur type, there's nothing in particular that's stopping you from taking just a massive amount of damage from like a bolt of fire or something, unless you have resistance, you know? or like even from like an Iron Shot or something, because GDR does not affect spells. When you have a bunch of AC, it can stop you from taking damage, and often does, but it's not guaranteed except if it's a melee attack. So playing a caster just kind of reveals how weak your character actually is, and how carefully you should be playing, really. You know, the game will punish you a lot more for things that would be mistakes on a melee guy that you just don't get punished as much for. If I wanted to play a caster, what are the recommendations these days? Play a null wizard. That's always what I suggest people start out with and have fun with, because then you don't have to worry about, you know, picking the wrong thing to skill. Any book that you find, you're going to be able to eventually use. Worship like Ashen Zari or something so you can get really good spells online that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get. By the way, I didn't mean to come down to Vaults 5, and it looks like I'm going to get memed on because there's a warden right here. So that's an issue. I usually like to try to go up and down, but then it's like not only do we have a warden, he's got an Ancient Lich buddy. So let's think about this later. Let's go up and do the rest of the vaults, which I skipped some of it to avoid getting shafted into an unfortunate spot. Gozag can totally carry you here. He could. He could, but is it necessary for me to bribe Vaults 5? I don't think so. That saves me more money for the Orb Run and for Zot. Oh, bro! You guys, look at this. So sick. Look at this, look at this. We got numero uno, un scroll de acquirement. Numero dos, a scroll of acquirement. 2 of them. It's pretty sick, right? Gosh, I'd like to have Holy Word for this, but I don't. Pop on Broad Axe of Holy. We may end up having to blink. By the way, I know I just kind of mixed Spanish with a French accent, but I don't think any CXC players are around to call me out on that, so it's fine. Okay, if we start getting owned like flayed or tormented or anything, we'll just blink. There it is. Okay, so we could die if we stick around because we could get tormented again. So what we'll do is we'll blink. And then we'll tally. We land in a good spot. Rest up. Wow, this cursed skull is just not screwing around. He doesn't want to die, despite the fact that I'm using a Holy Axe on his face. Come on, buddy. There we go. Okay, it's 2 acquirement. Gold, 2,900 gold. So those 2 scrolls basically just gave me a bribe. How amazing is that? Yeah, Cursed Skulls do have really good AC. Although they die real fast to LRD, I'll say that. Okay, bunch of rings I don't particularly care about. What happened to always acquire Barmer? I always acquire gold on Gozag because it just makes your character stronger. I mean, there are situations where I'll acquire something else, like if I really, really need a damn book, because I'm playing a caster and I just haven't found anything, I'll do that. Because, like, there's no guarantee Gozag will let me get a bookshop. But otherwise, gold is almost always, I think, the right decision. I'm not sure how much that was a meme and how much it was advice. Well, it was legitimate advice back in the day, but, oh shit. Freaking floating eye. Okay, let's fear him. Take out some of this stuff. It's trapped in here with this floating eye. There he is again. What can we do about him? Send the torrent of water at him. And then they kill him. Good. Dude, what a meme that is, dude. There's wardens that lock you in the place and then a floating eye that can parry you. That is not so fun. Well, it is fun, actually, on this character anyway, who has the tools to deal with it. Perhaps not so fun on a character that doesn't have the tools, although by vaults you probably should have the ability to deal with it. Axe seems to be doing work. Yeah, man. It's the drain, I'm telling you, drain is awesome. Hey, check it out. Look at this cool tile. That's the robe of vines. We're not going to use it on this character, but that is kind of a neat thing to see. Turns you into a vine stalker, basically. Wonder if that was a bona fide floating eye or a shapeshifter. Probably a shapeshifter. But then again, there are vaults that just place floating eyes randomly, even in places they're not supposed to be. You guys want to hear about the new branch that's going to be introduced in my fork? It's going to be fun. I'll give you a hint. It's a new S branch. Boots with int +4. This game really wants to give me boots with intelligence on them. Look at this. Boots of the boiling point, int +2. Boots zigwalk, int +4. There's that OgHu one in layer with a floating eye in the middle. That's horrifying, Flood Killer. Don't tell me about that. How did I not know about that? It's actually, that's not that bad since Aqualobs are stationary, but still terrifying. Kind of an early point in the game to be throwing floating eyes at people. Although mostly that's because floating eyes are bugged as hell. It's sort of crazy that they can get fully charged and then they just never lose their charge no matter what happens, even if they go off screen. It's a bad spoiler. Yeah, one of the big things about the fork that I'm working on is we're going to just overhaul vaults like crazy. And either change or rebalance the ones that are just obviously really stupid. Which is going to be a massive project in and of itself, but it's something that's been needed in crawl for a long time. Alright, you guys, should we do vaults 5? Of course we should. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it without using bribe. I should check something real fast. Scrolls, potions. I just want to make sure there was no useful consumables in any of those ghost vaults I left behind. You know that B-Crawl has a branch coming up, right? I didn't know that, NaNe Badger, but I mean, maybe I can use some of his stuff if with his permission, you know. Like I said, BH off, it's not like all of his ideas are bad, in my opinion. I just really hate the stairs thing, and he didn't seem too inclined to change it in a way that I found satisfying. And that was just like a deal breaker for me in terms of like getting on board with that fork. Quick, use bribe on the Twitch chat level, else the chat will be hostile. No, you gotta, it's the other way around, bro. You gotta bribe the streamer. Okay, we did not get locked in there. I don't think we'll be so lucky again, but we might. Can't be paralyzed, so let's just keep doing it. Okay, we didn't, here's a funny thing about vaults. A lot of people think that you've gotta watch out. Oh, hey. Thanks, NaNe Badger. Good old Harrington. But yeah, a lot of people think that like there's, okay, so you go down and there's a ward and it's like, oh my god, you're gonna get locked in immediately. Sometimes they just choose to walk towards you and try to punch you in the face, which is great if you're a big melee bruiser because you just kind of keep going down, going up, going down, going up, pulling guys one at a time. You might get to do that several times, clearing out the entrance. And in this case, he himself came up without locking the door. So we just proceed to own these dudes, you know? And now I go down and there's no warden anymore. We go back up, We tab these guys. Look how amazing the drain is. We go down, we go up, tab these guys. Feels like cheating, but like any character can do this if they get lucky. And if it had failed, you know, if he had locked the door, probably I would have blinked away and what the hell's going on here? Oh, right, we took a lot of hits, but we kind of blocked them all. Anyway, like, I would have just blinked away and then maybe teleported. By the way, this is another slight problem. We could get constricted here, although we might very well just go right up. Okay, we went right up. The Phantasmal Warrior is a bit concerning with the A-Lich nearby. That is, that's true, although I was only worried about it like just a second ago because otherwise the Lich really didn't have a line of sight to me. He does now though as well, so... Well, he didn't have Paralyzed, so it was fine, but I didn't know that, so... Yeah, honestly, you're right, Flood Killer. I should have been a little more careful there. I should not have just casually walked up with the Constrictor there. Anyway, he has Iron Shotted himself, so let's finish him with a Bolt of Acid, removing one of the biggest threats from the board. The Iron Shot hits the Ancient Lich, 4 exclamation points. Yeah, buddy. Okay, let's pull these guys. Shadow Dragon is one of the examples of a thing that neither Holy nor Drain affects, which is a shame, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, we're safe to go up, we're safe to go up. Yeah, okay. There was a Tormentor, but it probably wasn't going to do anything with all these fat living things around. Okay, let's go up. We actually don't have Resist Negative. You only acquired gold because of Gozag, right? Correct. What would you have acquired under Trog or Ured? With those two acquirements, I guess I'd have to look at my items. It would have been a tough call considering my items are already amazing. I probably would have acquired armor and hoped for a good body armor or boots, considering that my weapon is still, well, already quite serviceable, and I have 2 different weapons that mostly solve the game for me. I guess maybe if I was feeling kind of cheeky, I would have gotten weapon just to try to get like a speed prod axe, but the smart thing probably would have been armor in this case, since, you know, boots, we could possibly find a better cloak slot, although not likely. Could get like a artifact shield, perhaps. Yeah, jewelry is an option, but considering that my amulet's fine, something that I almost would never want to swap off, I don't know. Feels like armor is the right choice in this case. Okay, let's pull this guy up. Floor is pretty much done. Now the door is locked and I just don't care. I just keep tabbing. Maybe I do care. This is a little painful. Let's go up. A lot of damage possible here, but that's just the case when you're dealing with a bunch of casters. Although my drain was reducing their damage, I believe. Honestly, you know, when I do this, I'm always surprised that more people don't just try to stare dance V5. I know it certainly is better because I happen to be using a Minotaur, but it works on a lot of archetypes, you know. Also, we just ate a lot of drain. I've done this on like stat form dudes, you know. You obviously have to be somewhat defensive to pull it off. But I mean, if you're like a true fragile caster, you've got better things to be doing. People used to stare dance V5 all the time until they added wardens plus constrictors plus tramplers. Yeah, but I mean, even with those problems, it's really not that bad. What in the crap? Let's heal wounds. What an annoying warden. I think we can go do the rest of the floor now. Let's rest off this flay. So we saved 3,000 gold by not bribing this place, you know? And that's something I really prefer to do. Now, one cool thing about Gozag, is like if you are having a rough time on a character, and it's like, oh god, my guy can't handle slime, and he can't handle Vaults 5, what's he gonna do? You can just blow 3,000 gold and make Vaults 5 free and get a stupendous pile of loot, you know, for your trouble with almost no effort. So that's like one of the many great things about it, you know. People are always asking me why I favor Gozag so much, you know, unlike some other gods, like you're never ever going to feel like you're getting stalled out. Even if you sort of mess up your skilling or have some bad RNG on the things that you find. Would you say Gozag is overpowered? Really depends what you mean by overpowered. I'd say he's the most powerful god. But overpowered would, in my mind, be a god that stops you from losing if you make mistakes. Gozag is not a god that stops you from losing if you make mistakes. Well, bad enough mistakes, you know? Like, Zen has more ability to get you out of bad situations than Gozag does. You know, for a god to be truly overpowered in my mind, you would have to be able to just play like, you know, a complete madman and still win every time. You know, starting as a berserker is better than playing Gozag. 100% of characters, really. And so that's kind of the gold standard to compare it to. Like, is this thing overpowered? I will say that going Gozag is often sort of a no-brainer choice for most characters if you're just trying to go for win rate, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because this game has never been a game that's tried to balance the gods in terms of like which one's strong and which one's weak. Top 3 probably? Yeah, Rainy Day for sure. There's certainly some room for debate, but my top 3 would probably be Gozag number 1, and then I'd put like, well, let's bring up the list, because I know I'll forget something. So Gozag would be number 1 for me. Redem Mule would probably be number 2, because he just kind of solves the game for you up until Zot, at which point you should have a way to do it. And this is just power, by the way, power rankings. Maybe like Trog number 3. Pretty sure. Because Trog solves your MR problem for you, which is often irritating as hell. And then you'd get into sort of more esoteric things like Kiku that solve the game for you, but it's a little more tedious. Trog, you're at Gozag in some debatable order, yeah. By the way, guys, we found something with Sinv and Arlek. So we could drop both of our rings and wear that instead. We found 4 wins, which has our negative on it, so we would like to use that. So we'll drop our Reflect MR++, and instead wear MR+++. Drop this positive energy ring, since we have our negative now. Not that I was remembering to swap anyway. What would I even wear, though, on my other ring slot? Probably just like RF plus. I don't know. Let's deal with that here in a second. Ah, Demon Blade Leech. Might have been interesting earlier. Let's finish out the floor. Maybe I'll find a ring that's kind of fits the bill. Okay, how about we Lamplifier these dudes? Good. I didn't want to have to deal with the Sorcerer. I forgot which competitive player said this. Red would be indisputable #1 if he didn't have a slow a start. Sounds like something UV4 would say. Part of the reason Gozag is so unbelievably competitive is that he gets that big bonus right off the bat, which is huge because what's the most dangerous part of the game? The early game. You know? So any little crumb of power that you can get in the first 10 floors or so is just so unbelievably crucial. Yeah, Flood Killer. Light is good for you. And by the way, Flug, are you in that that WCA Discord by any chance? Do you know what that is? World Crawl Association, the thing KoCj made a while back. It's dead, so you're not missing much. I was just curious. Alright. Not a lot interesting in this loot pile. Weirdly enough, I think I'm actually going to go wear resist corrosion all the time. Hey Tahoma Raider, what is that? What is that emote there? Is that by any chance supposed to be a gravedigger from Darkest Dungeon? Probably not. Oh, we got memed on, you guys. Did you see it? Did you see what happened? Scrolls take you longer to read. Shouldn't have left my Ring of Resist Corrosion down here. Alright, take off the shield, wear the Lajatong, drink Potion of Mutation. Your body twists into forms, okay. Body shape feels more normal. Alrighty then. We'll wear our Draining Axe again, we'll wear Large Shield. Two, three, four, 5 enchant weapons. I might enchant up that Chopping Broadaxe soon. Dyslexia mutation. People in real life who have dyslexia, all they gotta do is get their hands on a Potion of Cure Mutation. Then all their troubles will be over, right? Alright, let's tab our way through depths. We could go do crypts if we wanted to, just for the loot, but like, we don't need it. You know? I'm inclined to just finish this game out. you feel like Gozag has a certain trap, though, buying shops is a great way to bankrupt yourself, and then Gozag becomes powerless. Well, that's the thing, is I never ever, well, not, I shouldn't say never ever, but I almost never go below 3,000 gold for the purposes of shops, just because bribe is so ludicrously strong. Honestly, I could just like rush through the game and win right now if I wanted to bribe depths and then like roll downwards. We have so much gold. It's not a problem if you play correctly. Yeah, rainy day. But you know, a lot of gods have traps like that. Euretum, for example, kind of makes you think that Enslaved Soul is worth training a ton of invocations, and it's really not. You know, I could probably think of several more examples. FedHOSk makes you want to make an Oklob farm, but then you find out that it's just not really worth it. Alright, you guys. I mean, it can be worth it, but Drain Life is worth training Invo. Yeah, but only like up to 8, you know. I mean, once you get to the point where Drain Life is restoring all your hit points on a full screen really reliably with like 0 or 1% fail rate, you really don't need to train any more Info. It's like, what's the other, you know, benefit you're getting out of that? It's worth making the Oklob farm for the catharsis, though. Yeah, I guess so. Dude, what the hell? What is... This is bizarre. This is like modeled after the slime. I've never seen this vault in my life, but look at it. It's literally the slime ending. And there's just a casual Nicola in here, which we're just gonna make some spiders and then dig this out. I made spiders so his chain lightning couldn't just own me through my Aralek. FedHOSk is pretty terrible, no? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Thanks for bringing up FedHOSk. Been struggling with trying to figure out how to play any FedHOSk characters. Any tips to efficiently take advantage of their powers? My main tip would be don't play FedHOSk. I'm probably going to rework FedHOSk in my fork, in my upcoming fork, because he's just not very fun to play. But basically your goal is to cheese the... your goal is to sort of cheese mushrooms for as long as you can, because confusing things regardless of holiness is quite nice. And always remember you can walk through plants, so that's like a good way to reset fights, but in general he's just not a very powerful god. There was a top player who said FedHOSk was the #1 god in the game. Is that a top player? Because that sounds like a moron. Oh no, it's somebody that I don't know. Okay, I don't want to insult that person then. I just assumed it was Minmay. You know, Tapstorm may have said that back in the day when you were able to get mushrooms way earlier. And back then it was really good. I think you used to get them at 1-star piety. I could be wrong about that, but I think. And at that point in the game, getting that kind of help early is quite amazing, you know. Food was different back then. That's true. Yes, it was. Alright, check this out. I think we just found enough enchant weapon to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could take it to 8. Hold up. We're going to rebrand this. Never mind, it's freezing. This is fine. I'm very happy with freezing. That actually lets us kill orbs of fire without too much trouble. For once, rebrand doesn't screw me. His argument was that early mushrooms carried you through lair, and beyond that you were fine to pretend to be an atheist. And yes, you're right, this was mushrooms at 1-star. I can totally get behind that logic train. That seems like a completely reasonable thing to say, assuming that that the mushrooms are 1-star piety. With that said, you might go crazy as a player because it's a very tedious way to play dungeon crawl. This is a lot of dudes. Hold up. This is just an obnoxious sort of group, so why don't we make this a little easier on ourselves? Oh, how cute. I could get floating-eyed. Okay. Change of plans. We'll kill him first. Whatever this vault is, I hate it. Please explode. Alright. Alright, there we go. Okay. Just a ton of dudes jam-packed into a very tiny space in a completely unsatisfying way to fight because we couldn't really get a super clean MO on them, although eventually we did. Okay, we use Holy Word, or Holy Broadaxe. Fighting a small army of dudes here to Homer Raider. Yeah, I was, and we cleared them out with the beautiful use of ML8. Clear 2 best gods are TeCj and MiAK because they hold the low turn count in real-time records. That's interesting logic, Talus. Although, I mean, that kind of begs... I mean, I know you're joking, but that sort of begs the question of what does best mean? You know, best at what? Is it best at winning in as many circumstances as possible? Is it best at winning turn count? Is it best at winning real-time? Is it best at making you enjoy the game? Because if I wanted to name which god was best for me to enjoy the game, it would be Uskawa, you know, who is actually pretty powerful as well, but just in terms of having a fun game, you'll find no equal, you know. MiAK is just dumb powerful, my dude. Sort of. MiAK feels very powerful because he lets you do something that pretty much nothing else in the game lets you do outside of having a vamp weapon, which is he lets you sustain through really long fights, and sustainabilities are something that don't really exist in crawl. It's something that Blokes talks about a lot, and he's 100% right. Let's say in terms of win rate improvement, Gozag. Well, I don't know. For what kind of player are we talking about? If it's a newer player, I would say that Ru actually would probably help you win the game more than any other god because he does the most for you passively. You know, Ru just kind of like lets you survive through situations that you otherwise shouldn't survive through. Oak Flight, Manual of Fighting, alright. Ring of Flight. Alright, I like that we found a Manual of Fighting, that's pretty cool. So we're going to train nothing but fighting, and, well, we'll keep training Evo. Why has everyone stopped talking about how strong Trog is? I don't know, he's still pretty strong. Oh shit. Let's not just tab with a floating eye on the screen casually. How big is my... Oh, my clouds are big. Blast of Flame, yeah boy. Please don't charge up. Did you charge up? No, you didn't. Can we... Yeah, we can. We can use the bolt. And he's dead. Let's Lamp of Fire. You really want to get Caustic Strikes in a cloud if you can. Look at this garbage. Look at this. This is slaughter boxes, right? This is a real obnoxious vault. So why don't we make the odds a little bit easier for us here. What's this dude got? Okay, I don't care about it. He doesn't have LCS. Okay, we've killed so much stuff that our lamp is already recharged. Let's say you're trying to go from 1% to 10% win rate. I mean, a god isn't really going to help you as much there as just learning to play over 100 games. I mean, then I guess I would have to say, oh, you have to play a variety of characters, because I was going to say like just berserkers over and over would probably stand the biggest odds of a newbie sort of going from that. I don't know, man. 1% win rate to 10% represents, you know, like figuring out nuclear fission, you know, in terms of like difficulty, in terms of getting better at this game. Because if you can win 10% of the game, or 10% of your games, you're just playing the game at a completely different level than someone who's sort of tabbing a lot. I mean, I don't know. Mysteriously, yes, you can. Yes, technically you can. I've proven, and Kunix has proven even more than me, that you certainly can play the same character a billion times in a row. But it might drive you a little crazy. Stay in that cloud, please. Oh man, I don't hate slaughter boxes. This I think that's what this vault's called. But it is a little frustrating to deal with, just because there's like a lot of it. This is one of those depths vaults that just feels grueling, you know. Hello, RF++ ring. Amulet of Vitality as well, but we don't care about that on this character, who already has Amulet of 4 wins. Huh. If we're trying to standardize this thought experiment, let's say you're trying to win 10 out of 100 times in random recommended combos. Oh, well that's a different challenge entirely. And you just want the god that's the best for doing that? I would say Gozag, you know, as long as the player can figure out how to use him in the proper way, which I guess goes for any god, but like Gozag's the one that's going to work for the most archetypes. Now there are certain characters you really couldn't safely go Gozag on, like you really probably don't want to go Gozag on a carnivorous character because you don't get as much sustenance from your rations. And then like you really don't want to go Gozag on a ghoul for pretty obvious reasons. Get bent, floating eye. You know what, I'm going to drop the ring of corrosion resistance. If we really need corrosion resistance, I'll just pop a resistance potion, you know? Yeah, Talus, Euretum Null is a legitimate option for this, because Euretum Null makes up for whatever dumb decisions you're making with your character to a large degree, to a degree that Gozag doesn't. So even if you are like terrible at skilling, Gozag will kind of mask that as long as you can figure out a way to, sorry, Gozag, Euretum Null will kind of mask that by virtue of the fact that like Bone Dragons and Profane Servitors will just sort of smash everything up until Zot. And if you can just figure out how to solve Zot on your character, Red pretty much plays the game for you, so it's quite nice. Gozag Felid can be passable because they have slow metabolism. Yeah, fair point. I dropped this potion of curing for some reason. A little bit of a misclick there. It's kind of sick that we have RF+++ now. We're going to have a pretty straightforward Zot. I am sort of tempted to wear the R core at all times. You know? And just like swap on the RF++ during Orb of Fire battles, but this is probably better. I mean, how many yellow draconians am I really going to run into? It's not like I really need to be worried. Plus, I can go invisible if I want to. That's fun, right? Don't jinx it, Malcolm. You never know what Zot vaults you're going to get. That's true. I could get the real dumb slimy Zot or whatever it's called. That could be painful, but we just go back and get our ring at that point. Sorry, I was confused because I brought up this ring accidentally, and I saw a Calvin and Hobbes quote, which I wasn't expecting to see on a ring. I got shafted into the acid vault. That was not very nice. That does sound painful. That's not something you want to have to deal with without being prepared for it. Dude, this freaking thing is screwing up my Auto Explorer. I'm actually gonna... Hold on. There we go. Okay. Just throw javelins at it until it's dead. I think we're gonna dive Zot, you guys. Just to kind of speed up the game. Take that quote out of context. Which one? The Calvin and Hobbes quote? Did it work? I think so. I feel smarter already. I guess it's because it's an int plus ring. Oh, what Flood Killer said. Oh. Getting some sick hit points here. Almost 250. That sure is a lot. Maybe Acid Vault is a euphemism for something. God, I hope not. It sounds painful. Anyway, you guys, at some point I may do some coding streams for this fork that I'm working on, so I can showcase myself bumbling around in an IDE. I've never streamed coding before, so it should be interesting. Not sure if there'd be any interest in that, but if there is, then maybe. Although I'd have to kind of probably fix my streaming setup on my desktop before I do that, since I would definitely be coding on my desktop. You have to be a very specific type of programmer to be interesting on stream. What, like somebody who messes up a lot? I mean, I can't imagine it would be all that interesting, if only because, you know, for me, when I'm programming things, it's a lot. You have to look up a lot of stuff, you know. Most programmers keep their thoughts in their head, and the audience just gets confused. No, I talk a lot. That's one of my... That's both my biggest strength and weakness, is that, like, I can explain my thought process because I just love the sound of my own voice, I guess. So, like, that's something that's not going to be a weakness for me. Or you have to be able to narrate without losing your train of thought, and you have to produce consistent output. The last part might be kind of an issue. Sometimes I'll just stop, like right now, to make a point. I mean, I don't know annoying that is or not. Alright, so this vault sucks. This dude fully charged immediately, and we've got Xerta dudes next to us. This is quite a death trap, so what we're going to do is we're going to fear sending the floating eye away. Bro, we are not... Oh, yeah, that's a caustic strike. Let's tally... what a suicide vault. This is undoable. Oh, it's not undoable, it's undoable safely. Can floating eyes see you if you're invisible? Surely they can. Yeah, they can. We had to kill the floating eye for this to be safe. Dang. I mean, what we could do is we could, like... We made a mirror of the caustic strike. But, like, check it out, he's fully charged. I could wait, like, 10 billion turns, and this asshole is going to be fully charged forever. So outside of shattering my way into this, like, what a dumb vault, you know? Moths of Wrath, caustic strikes, and a floating eye. So unless you can kill the floating eye immediately, and, like, he can see you, so you go in and he immediately gets charged up, and then the charge never ends. This is a real great example of a vault that needs to be either removed or rebalanced. It's just really, really, really dumb. Like, going in there is just suicide. There should not be vaults in the game where your choices are shatter your way in, or, like, kill yourself. You know, risk dying regardless of anything. And this is one of the reasons why I railed against the LRD change so much, because previously you could, like, train a little bit of earth, use, like, a potion of brilliance, and you could deal with vaults like this. But now they just function as sort of a, like, is the player completely and totally, like, foolhardy, you know? It's like, it's just like testing if the player knows enough to leave well enough alone, you know? Of course it's a Gamma Funk vault. He loves this theme of creating vaults where you're just, like, suicidal if you go into it, you know? Because he like makes little commands to see who's died in his vaults and sort of laughs about it with all his little sycophants in that Discord. It's like weird sort of, like, sadistic behavior almost, you know? But it's like, this is not the first vault like that he's made. I mean, a lot of the sort of trap vaults, I call them. I guess there's, like, the Zot trap vault, but then, like, this is a trap even if there aren't any literal traps in it, you know? Geez, players really should stop dying in my vaults. Yeah, he gets all cute like that. He says stuff like that all the time, and it's just completely asinine, because it's like you designed the vault as a trap for people to go into, and it's just horrible design. I mean, I struggle to believe that anybody could think that it's good game design in a game that rewards being thoughtful. I would understand it in a game that doesn't sort of reward trying to maximize your win rate, but this is a game that really deeply rewards. The most rewarding thing in Dungeon Crawl, for me anyway, is thoughtfully picking your way through situations that seem unwinnable, and then figuring out, like, no, like, I just didn't understand enough about the game yet. And that means that the most frustrating thing in the game for me is literally unwinnable situations. The kind of wow, that's Zephyr. That's I've never had dice thrown at me when I'm DMing, but I guess I don't act like that as a DM. The whole, like, rocks fall on people. Dude sounds like an asshole. Tahoma, don't get me started. He's probably the main reason why I'm making a fork of this game, because he's just, like, a perfect example of somebody who has like either inherited a community or is just, like, somehow in charge of certain things in a community, but is just hilariously abusive towards the people in that community. And it's like, honestly, I just think that the enthusiasts who enjoy this game deserve better, to put it simply. And it's like, since I don't think anybody else is going to be able to pull off sort of moving the player base somewhere slightly less abusive, I'm going to do it myself, and with the help of some very talented individuals. Ain't a Malcolm stream without mentioning Gamma Funk, am I right? To be fair, Flood Killer, sir, I believe you brought that up. Like, I was complaining about the vault and not naming any names whatsoever, and then you said it was a Gamma Funk vault. So let's give credit where credit is due. I think you baited me into that particular rant. I mean, whatever, dude. I'm passionate about it. You know, I'll never apologize for being passionate about it because, like, I think this is like it's a fun community. You know, there's a lot of really cool people in this community, but unfortunately there are some people who are, you know, I've heard this called the broken stare, and this is in some ways you can kind of roll your eyes about it, but it does exist where it's like there's a broken stair in the room, right? You're at a house party, and you fall down, you go down the basement to pick up some more wine or something. You know, they've got their beer or whatever in the basement, and you're restocking. You go down in the basement and you trip over a broken stair, and you hit your head, and you're like, guys, what the hell? And they're like, oh yeah, well the broken stair's there, but everybody knows about it. You know, and so we just kind of step around it. We don't really need to fix it because everybody knows it's there. It's there. Sorry. Okay, we'll warn you. There's this broken stair here. That's what people like that, you know, really abusive narcissist types. They're the broken stair. You know, everybody knows that there's something not quite right. They know that the person's, you know, either like an asshole or just really abusive or just like mean or whatever. But they've tolerated it for so long that they don't realize how messed up it is. And there are a few people like that in this community who unfortunately have sort of wormed their way into having just an enormous amount of power, and then of course they abuse that power to abuse members of the community. And Gamma Funk, I hate to say, is a really good example of this because, you know, he's the guy who runs the info bots. You know, and I always talk about how he was just like sort of frivolously bans people from them strictly to inconvenience them just because he doesn't like the people, you know, and he'll, you know, do all kinds of things like that that's just like sort of mind-blowing that somebody in a position of authority would do. And that's the broken stair thing, you know, like everybody knows it's a problem. Nobody wants to say anything because it's just like, that's just the way it is, man. But me as a relative newcomer to the community, I've only been playing Dungeon Crawl for maybe a year or two. You know, I have sort of a unique ability to say, well, why don't we fix that staircase, you know, so that people no longer fall and hit their head every time they go downstairs to pick up a beer, you know? And yeah, rainy day, making a new game is an option. But it's like, I enjoy Dungeon Crawl. I mean, trust me, I probably will develop my own game here at some point. Like, I have a lot of really big ideas that don't gel with with what Dungeon Crawl is, and you know, it is definitely an option for me to go and develop something on my own. But like, I want to see the vision of Dungeon Crawl exist. I want to see the vision of Dungeon Crawl exist in a way that, one, isn't controlled by people who seem to hate the community, and two, is willing to actually take their philosophy and see it through, you know, because they have their philosophy documents for the game, but they don't really seem to follow them. And I'd be interested to see what Dungeon Crawl is like when you polish out all the kind of horrible rough edges that have been ignored for a long time, or even made worse by the existing development team. Hey TS Flip, what's up? How do you not get mutated by orbs of fire? Great question. Let me take out these dudes and I'll give you a little answer. How do I not get killed by berserking Quicksilver dragons? Oh god, that's a cursed toe. Okay, hold on. Let me just go up. Okay, orbs of fire. If you're a melee dude, the answer is you don't. I mean, you're going to spend some time in melee with them. You're going to get mutated a little bit, and this is a good reason to really hope that you have stockpiled a bunch of mutation potions. Part of this kind of rolls into my arguments about how the mutation system is a bit broken, because if you go into Zot and you're a melee guy and the game just hasn't given you mutation potions, you got kind of an issue at that point, because you could get some stuff on your character that just sort of encourages you to farm Abyss for a long time to find potions. But if you're not just a melee dude, there are some options that you can do to kill the orbs. if you have a lot of evocations, for example, you could try to get either allies or enemies between you and the orb of fire and then try to kill it in some other way. Like, if there's an enemy between you and the orb of fire, you can at least soften the orb up by like wand of aciding the thing. And at high evocations, you can actually kill an orb of fire pretty quickly with a wand of acid. If you have high evocations, you can use sacks of spiders to, if you're high enough, you can actually get ghost moths, which will anti-magic them at range and make them do less stuff. You can, if you have high enough evocations, you can use Elder or Primal Beasts from the Box of Beasts to kill orbs of fire for you. Now, going more into like casters, you have a lot of other options. If you have Summon Lightning Spire, alright, you can set up this sort of, I don't know how I'm going to explain this without like a piece of paper, but okay, so let's say you have Summon Lightning Spire, which is a spell, if you don't know, that makes an ally that just stands still. Okay, so let me, hold on, let me go to a more wide open area so I can sort of show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's say I'm here where I'm standing, right? And let's say there's an orb of fire, I don't know, let's say he's right here where this exclusion is, okay? Following? And then I were to make a lightning spire, let's say like right here. All right. So as you can see, he could like bolt a fire through the thing and hit me, but he can't fireball because that'll hit the spire, and he can't mutate because that'll hit the spire. Spires have really good fire resistance, by the way, so they won't necessarily die as fast as you would think to an orb of fire. They're not going to kill an orb of fire by themselves, but I think orbs are actually immune to electricity. Are they? Yeah, they are. So your Spire is purely defensive in this case, but he blocks the fireball, he blocks the malmutate. So you could use this simply to wait for him to come closer and close the distance sooner, giving him less time to mutate you. But wait, there's something even better you can do. Let's say that you do this, and then Mr. Orb of Fire predictably blasts and walks his way until he's right here. So now you've got the top exclusion, which is the Orb of Fire, and the the Spire, which is right here. If I'm standing right here, check this out. I could throw stuff or cast stuff into the Orb of Fire, so this could be an Iron Shot, this could be a Javelin, this could be any kind of ranged attack, really. By targeting my thing up here, you'll notice that it goes through this square here, this tile where the orb is. But what the orb cannot do is he cannot mutate me for as long as the spire is right in front of him because of the way the targeting system works. So he would have to fireball and he would hit the spire. He could malmutate and he would hit the spire, not me. He could bolt me, but I'm not trying to avoid damage, I'm trying to avoid being mutated. So that's probably the best trick I have to offer in terms of dealing with orbs. But I mean, in general, on melee guys, I just kind of sucker up Buttercup and melee them and hope that bad things don't happen too much. In fact, this character, you might see me get boned from doing that, because like some characters just don't have the tools really to make it happen. I guess I could have gotten Spire on this dude and throwables and things. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Certain characters just aren't going to be able to handle them in a way that lets you avoid malmutate. Although this guy has 15 evocations, so I could probably, well, we're kind of lacking Box of Beasts, but I mean, what this character is going to do is avoid the whole situation by just bribing, you know? So that I'm not going to, I'm really not going to have to deal with too many hostile orbs. But yeah, I would agree with your evaluation that they are indeed not fun to deal with. probably shouldn't have just tried to melee those guys. I was slowed and that guy was zerked. And my defenses are not as amazing as I'd like to pretend they are. Oh, this stupid vault. This vault is so dumb. I mean, in this case, I've gotten a truly absurd amount of digging. A while back, there was a change. I think the change is active in 0.23, where digging wands no longer spawn with very many charges. So we actually have an insane amount for that change. But like, there are still vaults that encourage you to do a hell of a lot of digging, like this one. Like, they're just like, you know, there are just bros here hiding in their cages. So it's kind of an artifact that was never fixed. Oh, you got crystal plate rainy day? Very nice. Have you played Unreal World? No. Is that the Finnish survival roguelike? See, the fact that it's called Unreal World makes me, like, I immediately wanted to ask if it was programmed in the Unreal Engine. But I guess that's kind of silly. I sure do hate clowns. To the extent that we'll use a bunch of acid. Also, you know what else I hate? Zot traps. Because they can paralyze you. Dude, this floor's too open. I think we're going to have to clear it out. Which I probably should anyway, but I don't know, man. You guys want to see me make a super ballsy maneuver? I could just take this hatch into Zot 5. But I know that we're going to have to clear out this dumb... we're going to have to clear this place out anyway, because there's like, that's where all the staircases are. Assuming I have at least one RF and RC elsewhere, should I prefer Crystal Plate over Gold Dragon? Probably, depending on the character, but probably. One pip is really all you need of RF and RC to really make things work throughout the entire game, even against Orbs of Fire. First pip is the most important. But yeah, CPA is hilarious if you can get full enchant on it with enchant armor scrolls, like plus 14, it's insane. Let's do digging. Just gonna burn through digging. We have plenty of it, strangely enough, so. I'm actually totally okay with this vault in terms of like, you know, as long as the game gives you enough digging to deal with it, but it often doesn't after that change, you know. Alright, here we are. Magic map, bribe. We have so much money. Let's just have a nice casual stroll to the orb, yeah? Hello, Zot Trap. Hey guys. Can I melee Zerked Orb Guardians? Apparently so. My bribe is already running out. Yeah, Flood Killer, that's a ton of dig charges. It's insane. I'm playing in 0.23, so it probably shouldn't be happening, but... let's rebribe because our bribe ran out. Hey guys, I'm just coming for the orb. Just, let me have my orb. It's my orb. I paid for it. I'm essentially buying the orb of Zot. You know? Is waiting bad when bribing? I would say yes, because the bribe can run out, and then all the dudes you're fighting can actually go hostile. Which is not so good, as you can imagine. By the way, we're marked and just casually. I want to impress upon everybody exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just in the lungs while marked. Okay, third bribe. Burned through 12,000 gold. That's more than I had wanted to burn through, but we have just an absurd amount of money, so... You know what, this guy's actually damaging me. Why don't we acid him? And I'm being honest, these clowns still scare me. Get out of my way, dude. Oh, I have my holy axe on. Whoops. Okay. Got the orb. Go up. Because the Brimstone Fiend showed up, I actually wanted to rest a little bit, but... What I mean is you're not waiting to heal. Yeah, Rainy, I'm not waiting to heal because... Again, because the bribe can run out. And my dudes, I don't think they fight off screen. Dude. Okay, I think we can make it to dungeon without bribing. Here we are. Now we'll bribe dungeon. Which, by the way, does work on orb run spawns. That's another reason Gozag is great. Like, you just bribe, and it makes the orb run a joke. Look at that. Even the Orb Guardian just walks away. Panlords will walk away. Almost feels like cheating. Remember to bribe D. Yeah, Flood Killer. Look at that. Rust Devil, Panlord come into view, immediately go neutral. What did this guy have? Distorting Touch, very fast. Imagine how not fun that would have been to deal with. I guess getting Abyssed is not a huge deal, but still. Does the Orb Umbra actually do anything? No, although having the Orb does make it so you can't cast Passage of Galubria or use any kind of controlled blink. Like if you use a C-Blink scroll, you will just blink randomly instead. GG. The higher HD the monster has, the more likely it is that it gets bribed by you. Yeah, I think to the extent that like it's almost guaranteed with a Panlord because the hit dice is just so huge. Although it's probably not guaranteed. It's just really likely. Anyway, yeah, GG, you guys. Pretty cool stuff. Minotaur Chaos Knight. Let's take a quick look here. Yeah, so it hasn't recorded the game yet, but we've actually won 10 games. in a row. Panlords don't have amazing hit dice compared to A-Liches and Orbs of Fire. I think they have around 20. Is that so? Hot diggity damn, you're right. It's only 18 hit dice. That's actually not that much. I guess that's probably good, though, because they use up less of the bribe. You know? It's actually 18, even lower than... Well, you said around 20. But yeah, you know, that's really interesting, because that means that their abilities, which are hit dice based, do less damage than if they were in the hands of like an Orb of Fire. Like a Panlord with a Bolt of Fire will do less damage than an Orb of Fire. Kind of interesting. At least I think that's how it works. But anyway, that's that is the 10th game in the Elliptic Streak. The next one's kind of weird because it's a High Elf Assassin. So I'm not going to start the game because I need to decide which version of the game I want to play it on. I think, was it point 20 when they were still High Elves? I don't see him on point 20, so it must have been point 19. Maybe not. Oh, there he is. So he's on the left side. Was that here? Yeah, so point 20 was when they were removed. So we'd have to go back and play point 19 if we wanted to do a High Elf. But I want to make sure I don't play the version with Shadow Traps because those were broken as hell. But we will play an old version. Either that or I'll trade it out for a Deep Elf. But I think we'll just play an old version to keep the streak totally pristine, totally accurate to what Elliptic did. And that'll be the 11th game, and hopefully the 11th win. Now, High Elves are a little bit fragile, but an Assassin starts with Curare Needles, so it should be okay. The biggest risk will be if something exists in that version that I've just forgotten how to fight. Then we might be in some serious trouble. But I don't know, I think it'll be okay. We'll see. Anyway, thank you guys for coming by the stream. I always appreciate it. Always good to have company when I'm trying to streak wins or do anything really. So, yeah, that was a good game, it was a good win. But until next time, I'm signing out. Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.